Hello everyone, and welcome to Happy Nerd Things. My name is Morgan, and today we're just going to be drawing another happy little nerd thing. To start things off, I picked a light blue color. I'm just going to work on the background a little bit. And as always, this is not an instructional video. This is just something to help everyone relax. I'm going to draw some that I enjoy and put it to some sounds of rain. Just like drawing a nice rainy afternoon. And what I'm working on right now is a cave. I'm at a second layer. I'm going to draw a person sitting in this cave. And this is just a quick outline. You want to get the basic shape and posing correct. Now there is, as this is a nerdy thing, you might be able to recognize this person. Though this one might be a little more complicated as it's a bit of a conglomeration of a few different same character with different versions of the same character. So, just trying to figure out how everything's gonna look. And we're adding a hat to the person. And a backwards facing ball cap. Just a bit of glue. And some hair. And it's gonna be spiky. Now we're working on a hat a little bit more. And a little design on the front of it. And I want to start to fill in some details about this person's clothes. And work on that sleeve a little bit. Add an extra line to their jacket. Give them a bit of a pop collar there. And a design on the back. And we're holding something right here. It's going to take me a couple tries to get this right. And just to go ahead and spoil what it is they're holding a Pokédex. Or at least I'm trying to make it look like they're holding a Pokédex. Eventually we'll get it. Thankfully, drawing on a computer, can always just undo things and try it again. So add in another layer here. Just finished out the basic outline for that. And doing the outline for this one green just to make sure I know how to stand it out. And we're working on the basic shape. And since this is a Pokemon person, they need to have a Pokemon. I realize green is not the best color for this Pokemon, but once again, this is just a rough sketch for the posing. We'll be going all over all of this in black layer. And here we have ourselves a cute, sleepy little Charmander. Now, go in, so work on the eyes a little bit. So you can see what we're doing. So sleepy. Give him a nose. And then another layer. And now we're going to start outlining things. So the reason why this is an amalgamation of things, because usually this character wearing their baseball hat, and the video games are baseball hats facing forward. So, and you'll be able to tell once I color into this in, but just go ahead and let you know it's red. The character from the first Pokemon game, and also the character from the manga. Now why this is a bit of amalgamation, because typically red is seen with a Charizard, but red in his video game depictions versus baseball cap forward, or red in the manga versus baseball cap backwards. Just an extra little bit of nerdiness for you. As we go over his hair, you can see I try to change the shape a little bit of it. That's the fun of having layers while drawing on a computer or a tablet, is this. Being able to trace over things like this pretty easily, make changes as you go along. And a couple more details to his shirt. Work on his pants. And work on his hand and his arms. And just a simple little drawing, but this is mainly just for me to have a good time drawing. And hopefully for you guys to have a good time watching and listening. And hopefully it's relaxing. I'm trying to get his mouth just right. Give him a little bit of a smile. And change the angle of the eye there to more match him leaning forward a little bit. I'm gonna line the Pokédex and change the shape a little bit of it. And we're gonna add another layer. And we're gonna add Charmander on this layer. I could have done this in the same layer, but I like having different layers for different things just to keep my options open. In case I need to make a drastic change later on without having to change too much of the image. Give him his little nose. Give him his sleepy little eyelids. And here I'm just trying to give him a bit of a shape to his actual eyeballs. But he sort of just look like he has angry eyebrows. Definitely too thick. Oh, there we go. Just enough to apply a bit of definition there. And now we'll go back to the rest of the outline. And all this green and red will go away eventually. Kind of weird to have a green Charmander. There we go. That's what the outline looks like, to make sure I didn't miss anything. Now we can start working on the outline of the cave. I know these are scratchy lines. I could have made them a bit cleaner, a bit smoother. But personally, I like the scratchy look to things. Feels like I get a little bit more texture, a bit more character to it. And it's just a personal preference. Go through here. Work on the rest of the cave. Now go over here to the other side of the cave. And start filling it in. Let's do some nice, simple outlining. Like the last little bit over here. Okay. Put another layer, put underneath the lines, so that way when we color it, we don't have to worry about hiding the lines. Just everything will fit underneath it nicely. I'm trying to find a red for Red's hat, and change the tool to an airbrush to get more smooth, consistent coloring. Now you can see there the one line of definition in the hat. Move the pin itself right over it, but the line still shows because we're coloring underneath. And filling in here on the edges of his hat. Now working on the bill. I think that's a good red for his color. Keep going. Fill in the middle there. And I just went ahead and made his shirt vest thing the same color as this hat. Nice and uniform like that. Fill in the top of his vest. A couple little finishing touches, just filling in a couple small gaps. A little bit of touch up. Now I'm working on the Pokédex. This one I did want to change a little bit. This was not all completely one shade of red, although I didn't pick too much of a difference. And now light blue for the blue jeans. Just filling in the pants. Again, using the airbrush tool because it's nice and consistent. And the rest, close to the rocks there. Okay. Now we're working on the skin. And as you can see, I try a couple different shades here. Trying to find the right one. Drawing out a tablet makes this very easy for trial and error. Just keep testing it until you find something you like. I think it was that one for a bit. But I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like it. It's kind of like grayish. Oh, it's got like a greenish color to it. I'll change the color palette a little bit. Look for a different color. Go with some more preset colors there. Start filling this in to see what it looks like. And that's looking not quite right. So we're going to change something maybe a little less red there. There we go. I think we found one we're going to stick with. We'll go ahead and color his face there. Go back to his hand. Much better color. Move over his pants a little bit. So, hit the undo tool there. Be a little more careful on that line now. Arm is filled in. Going for the other arm. There we go. So, going to go back to our default color wheel. Now we're filling in the white spots in the hat and the shirt. And that's already white. But if you don't fill it in now, it'll get kind of messy when we work on the background behind him later. Got his sleeve there. Got his, work on the bottom of his jacket. Make sure you fill in the color a little bit. Okay. And now, gonna work on filling in his hair. The black is very strong. Put some lighter color there, just to help separate his locks of hair. And we'll fill in the rest of the black. At this point I realized I could have used airbrush to outline, but maybe that's something we'll do next time. Keep going, keep filling it in. Okay. Could be smoother, but this will be zoomed out, so it won't be too bad. There we go. I used the color select tool just to pick the color of the hat so we can stay consistent. And then I changed it a little bit. Color in Charmander. Start filling him in. He's looking pretty red, so we're gonna undo that stuff. Pick a more orange kind of color. I think that one should be good. There we go. A little more. A little more like a Charmander there. Just filling in a bit more detail, zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Okay. Not too bad. Coloring his little arms. Coloring the back of his leg. I'm trying to be careful around the borders of it to make sure we don't go outside the line too much. Now I just gotta fill in the rest. Working on his tail. Filling that in. I don't have any reason to why I keep jumping back and forth between like that. As long as it gets colored, I don't think it matters too much. There, it's all colored in. Now all we got left to do is the background. So, move this layer around. Okay. So switching tools to the paintbrush. First time using it in this sort of manner. But I figured the paintbrush should give a little bit more texture. It should look good since we're painting rocks right now. Yeah, I didn't like how that one was working. Pick a bit of a different color. And what I decided to do was do a base layer of gray with the airbrush. Now the reason I did this is so there won't be any spots left uncolored when we do the paintbrush over this later. So that's all we're doing right now, using the big paintbrush. Just fill in. Get there along the edges. Fill in over that side. Again, no reason for why I jump around so much. And we'll just touch it up here and there. Make sure it all gets colored in. Fill in under Charmander. And there we go. Fill it in under red. Alright. Now we just got the top bits to do. So filling it in, filling it in. Put in the last little bits here. Last little bits there. That corner I missed. Now, go to a different layer. And now we go to the paintbrush. So I think if you look, you can tell spots where the paintbrush doesn't quite go over. And that's to give the effect of painting on the canvas. But I didn't want just white spots underneath that, which is why we colored in gray the first time. I went over the line there a little bit, so we did that. Now we're just filling in. Trying to get the outside of it a bit darker, lighter on the inside towards the light. Made this paintbrush smaller so we get close to the edge of the rocks here. And the paintbrush tool is pretty fun because once you paint and you go over it again, the parts you go over get darker. Which is why you kind of see where the first part of paint over the second part is kind of a stronger, darker line there. But that's okay for now. Go just try and get everything filled in. And let's make sure we have everything covered. Touching up the paint a little bit more. Getting close to the borders everywhere we can. And that should be just about it. This little corner over here I missed. The bigger paintbrush. Now you can see it getting darker everywhere I go. I'm trying to smooth out some of those strong lines. A little bit darker. The faster you move the paintbrush, the more of a streak, more of a blur effect it has. Working on darkening the corners a little bit. And sort of smoothing it out a little bit. And right on the corner, right at the top. And we are going to kind of smooth this out Or they keep making it darker and darker. Okay. I've got the top around the border pretty much filled. Get a little bit smaller. Try to smooth it out some. Try to blend it in some. Let's reposition it to get a better idea what it looks like from far away. Okay. I did that to see what sort of coverage we'd have. And I want to make it sort of a darker scene outside the cave. So that's why I just filled it with black. But I didn't quite like how an all black thing looked. So now we're going to go ahead and work on the world outside the cave. So put in the clouds first. Don't know why. Then decided to try to make some purple mountains off in the distance. Again, these will be darkened up later on, so it won't be quite as purple. But you get a nice basic shape there. And get some green. Darker green. Make brush a little bit smaller. Now we're just trying out different brush types. Found one I liked. Went to a smaller size. And now we're just kind of filling in more of the background. These will eventually be little trees. Happy little trees, you might say. Although I don't think Bob Ross will be too impressed. But knowing him, he'd probably just be happy that I tried. And I'm okay with that. Filling in some trees here. Just to kind of fill in some of that space. And the idea of this whole drawing was that Red would be out on his adventure, and a storm would be about to come up, so they take refuge inside this cave. Just fill out the tree a little bit. Trying to make it a bit fuller so they take up more space. And that's pretty much all you gotta do for a little bit. Just to kind of fill everything out. Eventually these will get mixed together more so it's not just a bunch of kind of standalone trees. So you can see now I'm kind of filling out more of them. And now it's filling in the background with green. To make it, I want to give the impression of a forest. There we go. Just putting more trees in there. More and more green. Alright, yeah, that's good for the trees. And do kind of a darker blue. And we'll start working on the sky. Okay. I'm filling in a kind of a gray sky. Go over the mountain of the tree a little bit, help darken them some. And let's kind of try to work on some of those darker clouds a little bit. Didn't quite liked how that looked. Redo. There we go. Let's try to do a little bit of cloud coverage there. Some clouds over the mountains. Just kind of filling in the grayness of everything. It was a bit of a dreary day, but Red's still having a good time on his Pokemon adventure. Just kind of smoothing everything out. I'll blend it a little bit. And that's looking pretty good. Have little touches. Yeah. So we can do a time lapse to see how we started and see where we ended up. And I do notice, or I did notice we missed something. Not we, I missed something. But I'll put it in here in just a moment. And this is when I realized it. Poor little Charmander doesn't have his tail. You can't have Charmander without his tail fire. A little paint. And there we go. Add a little glow. Charmander's tail. And there we have it. So thank you for watching. And be sure to check back for more happy little nerd things. We have a wonderful day.